Awesome. Oh, we are live.
We're live, and I have a question already. Hey, everybody.
And action.
Action. When I present my screen, okay, yeah, I'll just share my whole screen. Cool. Okay, and then how do I see who's here? Oh, shit, there's tons of people here.
Yep, we have some comments in here already.
Tell me in the chat where you're calling in from. I'm calling in from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. And Kate, you're in Boston, right?
Yes,
So
Boston.
Okay. And just to prepare everyone, this will be a 90-minute working session. So I'll give a little talk at the beginning, but then we're just going to be jamming. You're going to get shit done.
We got Utah,
Seattle,
Orlando,
Vancouver, Canada, Chicago. What's up, Houston? Hi, Abu Dhabi.
Wow.
Rennie in NYC and Denver. This will be recorded, so you can always come back and watch. And there's a good chance I will host a second one at a more comfortable time, because I know it's like midnight for India. Yes, hi, Everyday Econ Explained. I'll probably host another one. Honestly, when I booked this, I thought that like 30 people would come to my little webinar. So I was like, oh, I'll just host it in a Google Meet.
I think we have like over 900.
And there's 900 signups. I was like, oh shit, I gotta get the big guns. Kate, I need help. Can somebody help me live stream this? What do I do? So we'll probably do a second one. But yeah, good to have everyone. Okay. Kate, do you have any updates that you want to share on the hackathon in general? Because I know things are cooking.
Yes, hackathon in general. Oh my gosh. So yeah, this might be the second time you're seeing me today, because we did have a live stream earlier today with entry. And yeah, we have a bunch more. So we have one tomorrow with Pika, one on Wednesday with Tavis. Then we have a bunch the following week. So we'll be hosting live streams like throughout the build period. You can go to river.to/bolt. I'll include that link here. Yeah, build packs are rolling out. Just remember that it's after you register, it's 48 hours after you register that you can expect those in your email. Gosh, there's so much, but I think that's what I have for you right now. I'll be sharing links in the chat though throughout this.
Okay.
For reference.
Sounds great. I am going to dive in. Hey, Bangladesh, Cairo. Damn, this is StreamYard, by the way, if someone is asking. All right, I'm just going to share my entire screen. Send it. Can you all see this? Someone's going to have to tell me verbally because I can't see the chat.
Yep.
Okay. Hey, everybody. I'm Rae from River. Been partnering with Bolt. You are at the go-to-market workshop for the world's largest hackathon. We're going to lock in for 90 minutes. This will be recorded, so if you are sleepy, you can go to bed and watch it later and have all the links. And there's a very good chance I'll host it again. I thought 30 people would sign up for this, and 900 did, so obviously it's popular, and I will probably find another time. Today, I'm going to help you learn how to create your brand, launch your product, and get your first customers. Just a quick recap on what we've been doing with Bolt for the world's largest hackathon. I'm the co-founder of River, and we've been bringing together people all around the world at audience community-hosted meetups. You can find those at rbr.to/bolt. And just to give you an update on some of the numbers, there's $1 million in prizes. There are over 75,000 hackathon signups the last time I checked. 6,500 builders have gathered IRL, and there's been over 100 events hosted. I'm sure that number is out of date. All for one world record attempt for the world's largest hackathon. So thanks for being here, and thanks for hosting. And yeah, happening all over the world. This graphic's definitely out of date, tons of cities. So chances are there's something happening near you. And I just want to do a shout out to some of our more recent hosts. Hosts are the best people in the world because they bring people together and help people build connections and build products. So if you see your name on here, thank you so much. And I wanted you to save the date for July 26th, Saturday. Kate might have more to say about this, but there's going to be a live stream for the award ceremony where they give out the Millie. And we will be launching IRL watch parties on River that you can join or host. Kate, do you have anything to say about this?
Nope, just stay tuned for more on that.
It's going to be awesome. And really quick, if you haven't stepped up to host yet, this is how you can join the movement. So you can find an event near you. You can apply to host it. We review applications every business day. You get approved pretty quickly. Once you're approved, you update your event details with the time, location, and capacity. Or if you don't see an event in your city, you can propose one and use the templates. While you're hosting your event on River, we prompt everyone to upload photos from the event and share them on social. And if you're hosting, you're building status within the Bolt community, and people will be more easily find your profile, and the Bolt team will know who you are, that you've been awesome. And then if you create an event on River, you can invite local Bolt community members. So if you're in Denver, you'll get to notify the Denver people. If you're in Cairo, you get to notify the Cairo people. And then anyone who comes to your event becomes your follower on River. You can there later on invite to your own personal events. So yeah, join, host, or launch your own community events at rvr.to/Bolt. Okay, that's a quick recap. Back to the go-to-market workshop. Just a bit about me. I'm a marketing leader turned venture-backed startup founder. I did not mean to start this startup, but it just kind of happened and fell into my lap. But I still love being kind of a go-to-market marketing person, and it's super fun to share my knowledge with builders. So we're going to do today, I'm going to show you step-by-step how I won Miami Hack Week a couple of years ago with a 3-person team. I'm going to break all that down into like a go-to-market playbook, and then you also have, which is in Figma, it's like a FigJam board. And then you also have a Notion checklist that you can take with you. So just like project management step-by-step. And then I'm also going to be bringing Chris and Uma on stage later on, and we're going to kind of live jam, kind of work out some of the kinks on their workshop and help them get their first users and help them launch. So thank you, Chris and Uma, for being my first victims. So can you drop in the chat what you think go-to-market even means? Is there anybody in the chat? Just see if I can try here. What are people saying? What does go-to-market mean to you? Anybody have definitions? Drop in the chat.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Oh, they know it's a trick question. Okay, what does it mean to you? I'm sure. Launch strategy from Bria, how to launch a product solution. This workshop's gonna be 90 minutes. Buckle up, buttercup. How to take your product to your customers. Do not waste time professionally planning. Get out there. Yep. Strategy, sell. Yeah, great people. So to me, go-to-market is bringing products to the market, bringing to the consumers, to the customers, and bringing markets to products, which kind of means like creating demand for your product, creating brand name recognition so that people start seeking you out. Anyone heard the build it and they will come? Somebody smart said that a long time ago, and that is only true for donut shops. You cannot just build things and hope that people find out about it. It doesn't work. Anybody know the weekend startup guy? This isn't a real person. I just feel like this is like, I see this tweet all the time. I can build this in a weekend. My answer to this is yes, but can you get a customer in a weekend? That is the key. You must get people to know about and care about what you're building. Otherwise, you don't have a business. You have a hobby, my dears. So while it is true that no-code tools like Bolt are awesome at making product development easier than ever, newsflash, more people are building products than ever. And I think that the number one rookie mistake I see really technical people do is they build a product without knowing who it's for and how they will get people to use it and announce it. And my prediction is that the next era of unicorns will not be started by engineers, but by designers, salespeople, and marketing leaders. So you better get your go-to-market house in order. A lot of people don't know this, but Amazon has this future press release tactic that they use for building better products. And before they even have scoped anything out for the product management team, before any wireframes have been designed, before any code has been shipped, they write a press release defining what the final product's narrative will be and then working backwards to create it. I cannot tell you how many times publicly traded companies have hired me to say, hey, we've been building this thing for 2 years and now we need to announce it. And they have nothing to say, like there's no story, it's not differentiated. The only thing they can win on is price, and that's a short-term game. So just make sure you know who you're building for, why it's unique, what the story is going to be. You don't have to have it perfectly fleshed out, but you got to have a little something in mind before you start writing code, or you might have a Frankenstein. So don't build anything until you can answer this, until you can say this sentence quickly. So I'm building, what is it? To help, who is it for? With, what is the problem I have? If you can say this really quickly, like without thinking too hard right off the cuff, then you are really clear on what you're building, and that's fantastic. Build, baby, build. But if you aren't clear, or you and your partners are not aligned, I would get clarity on this. So at River, I'm building an event platform to help brands and influencers like Bolt with producing global events by orchestrating audience-hosted meetups. Chris, who you'll see later, he's building VA Rating Assistant, and he's building a secure web application to help U.S. veterans with uploading their medical documents and getting an estimated VA disability rating. And then Uma, who's coming on board later, is building an AI-powered emotional support platform to help people struggling with stress, loneliness, or trauma with finding a safe, judgment-free space to vent, connect, and feel heard. These are very clear, and both of them were able to respond to my prompt nearly instantly. So kudos to you guys for knowing what the heck you're building. Okay, so now I'm going to walk you through how I approached taking on Miami Hack Week, which was a week-long hackathon. So if all the stuff I'm going to show you I did in 1 week, and you have a month, so you can definitely do it. It was an insane week. This was 2 years ago. There's about 80 submissions. It was an in-person hackathon. There was about 80 teams, 80 projects, so much less competitive, I would say. World's largest hackathon is much bigger, although there's way more prizes, so probably all works out with similar odds. And my two partners were both very technical. One was a data scientist, one was a full stack front-end engineer, and I was non-technical, a marketer. But they believe that the reason we won, because there were a lot of great products in the hackathon, is because we had great marketing. So we built this tool called Yentabot, which if you're Jewish is funny. Jonah's Jewish, so he named it. It's an AI knowledge base in Slack. And so you could ask questions and get answers based on Slack conversations. So in this case, I asked, like, what's our marketing campaign? And it like literally told us, and it was just scraping past Slack conversations. We used GPT-3, and RAG GPT-3 had just come out weeks before. So that dates this. Now this isn't that impressive, but at the time we were all like, wow. The product was great, and like kudos to them for making it work in less than a week, and like it actually worked. But my teammates believe that we won because of great marketing. So I'll show you how I went full stack marketer to launch in 1 week. So the first thing I did, Jonah flew in. We were living in Miami. Jonah flew in from San Francisco. So we took some team photos with our Miami shirts on, obviously. First thing I did was make a link tree. This is where you can kind of link to your teammates or any newsletters or whatever you guys are got cooking. And it's just, before you have a website ready, it's just kind of one simple place to start sending people and start building a little momentum and energy there. Then I developed a brand and style guide. I developed a little logo and chose a color palette. I bought t-shirts. I just bought orange t-shirts on Amazon and then took them to a local screen printer to have the logo patched on. I made a simple website, and that's what I did. Okay, if there's any questions, by the way, you can interrupt. I'm just not looking at the chat. I'm looking at my slides.
Cool. Yeah, I'll just pop them on the screen.
Yeah, I started a social handle. I focused on LinkedIn and Twitter. I think that's part of the workshop, is just decide which social channels you're going to focus on. These are the ones I chose. We also recorded a daily podcast, absolute garbage audio quality, but we either recorded it over dinner or in the car ride home and uploaded it using the Spotify for Creators app. So it was kind of fun. We just did a daily log for all 5 days of the hackathon to talk about the experience and what we were building. I kind of tried to write a newsletter, but honestly, I ran out of gas on that. I only did 2 posts, but did that on Substack. I recruited our friends, first users, to try it, and it actually worked. The biggest problem with it was expensive, because we would basically like process your entire Slack history to be able to, so it was very expensive. It cost us a lot of money in AWS credits. Then I got to designing the demo booth. So I did this in a combination of Figma and Canva, but my vibes were like, remember in the 90s when people would be like wanting to babysit and they would write like a flyer out and then they'd write their phone number and cut the little strips of paper and you would rip it off the phone number. I did that except for with QR codes. After I designed this entire brand and hung it up on the booth, I realized it looks exactly like Dunkin' Donuts, which is super annoying because I hate Dunkin' Donuts. It's like a really popular coffee donut shop in New England in the US, and I think it's tacky as hell. So
Oh, I love Dunkin' Donuts though.
Kate loves Dunkin' Donuts. I don't know why. I just don't like it, and I didn't realize that my brand looks exactly like Dunkin' Donuts until it was too late.
We do have a question. What do you use for UX, i.e. how do you come up with palette, design, logo?
I mean, I was just like, okay, I'll tell you my thought process at the time. I was so tired of like tech blue, and I was like, no gradients, because I just feel like tech is always blue and has gradients. So I was just like, these are my two rules. There will be no blue and there will be no gradients. I wouldn't say this is great design. I just kind of went with whatever I felt like because it was so run and gun. I do like there's a cooler COO, maybe OLORS, like color palette generator that's kind of fun. I mean, honestly, I built this like ChatGPT 3.5 was out and it wasn't that great. I feel like now you could probably just tell it to make you a logo or like use Canva's logo generator. I don't know. I feel like I might be a little out of date. Kate, do you have a better answer to this question?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like ChatGPT is a good start for sure. But yeah, I think you had a good call out of like, maybe what's different, what's eye-catching, what's, in the space that you're building in, what is common and then too, just what you like. I mean, I think just going with your gut on this stuff is a pretty good start.
Yeah, I think making a mood board of visuals that you like. When I was developing the river palette, I picked my favorite outfits from my closet. Yes. And then I made a pitch deck. So I recommend pitch.com. I recently tried the Figma slides feature, not as smooth and fast as pitch.com. And it's free for like up to 3 pitch decks or whatever. So definitely pitch.com. That's what this deck is in. I also made a demo video in Loom. We're not going to watch it now, but Loom is a great tool for recording your face and your screen at the same time and then generating a link. You can also embed those things. And I also just helped by testing the hell out of the product. So those are all the things I did in 1 week. This is how our booth ended up looking in real life. Design versus reality are always different, but it was really fun. No one really else had like a decorated booth. Most people just had a table with their laptop on it and maybe a couple signs. I also kept track of like how many people were on the wait list and how many users we had. Like instead of a live like TV dashboard, I just did a white little dry erase marker. That was kind of fun. And people definitely pulled off these QR codes and like scanned them. So it was really fun. And our t-shirts had not arrived yet. And then our booth made us into the top 5 projects. So we got to pitch on stage with 0 practice. That was fun. But luckily our t-shirts made it just in time. So we were twinsies on stage. And we won first place and best use of OpenAI, which was super fun. And then 5 days later, so this is technically 2 weeks, after the hackathon finished, I produced a more polished demo video. I hired a video editor for this. We launched on Product Hunt and we did pretty well considering we weren't like trying hard. We're like, oh, let's just slap it up there and see what happens. And kind of on a whim, we also applied to YC. We did not get in, but they did say that we were in the top 10% of the batch. And then I also saw a tweet later from Gary Tan saying this was the most applicants they'd ever received. So I was like, oh man, maybe we would have made it like at a different time. Ultimately, I think it wouldn't have been a great business just because like all these, I don't know. I think we would have just gotten crushed in the market. But anyway, it was really fun. Good project to do. So now playbook.
Did you do all this before building or what was
No, we all started the marketing and the building at the same time, like when the hackathon date started.
Where did you get the name River from?
So I started River based on I was creating an in-person community for the All In podcast just out of my own interest. And Jason Calacanis, who's the moderator of the pod, tried to hire me. And I said, no, thank you. I love you, but I'm an outdoor cat and I like working on my own stuff. So then he DM'd me a few weeks later. He's like, what if I invest 100 grand and you start a company instead? And I said, okay. So I was trying to name it after, like, give it like an homage to All In with a poker term. And River is the last hand in the last card in the deal. Rivers also kind of like collect small bodies of water and bring them to large bodies of water. My name's Rachel. My co-founder's name is Ryan. Anna, who helped me build All In Meetups, her last name's Rivera. I don't know, just felt like it made sense. It eats shit on SEO, but SEO's dead anyway. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Kind of a similar question.
Yeah.
Did you already had a market problem validation before you built about Miami Hack?
Yeah. So we definitely were like, okay, obviously, GPT was like all the rage. This feels like 20 years ago, but it was only 2 years ago. GPT was like coming out and it was all the rage. Like RAG was kind of like people are starting to talk about that more. My husband, who's also my co-founder at River, he's a data scientist with like very strong ML machine learning chops. And then Jonah was a full stack engineer. So we know we wanted to use ChatGPT, and we thought we wanted to do something in Slack. And so I wouldn't say we weren't trying to start a company. We were just trying to win the Hack Week for like a fun, like basically like instead of going on an actual vacation, we're like, oh, let's just do this hackathon together for fun. I wouldn't say it was like the most market validated idea. It was just like, what can we learn how to use these new tools that are coming out, and like how far can we get? But yeah, we brainstormed for a few days, like a week before the hackathon, just to be like, what are we going to build? And they were kind of like tinkering around with GPT and RAG just to see like what it would even do before we committed to taking on this like bite of a project. But everything was like created within the bounds of the week. Any more questions?
Let's see. That one's a dupe. Why is SEO dead?
I mean, it's not dead, but like a lot of people are, I would say like top of funnel content marketing is tough now because they're not like going to browse blogs for answers on like, people used to like look for blog posts on positioning and messaging or product marketing. And now you probably would just ask ChatGPT and it would just give you answers. So now I think the new SEO will be, can you get yourself in those answers and linked to from those answers? But like, I guess I mean like brand recognition for River. Like if someone types in River, they're not going to find my company because there's so many companies called River. But I don't know. I just think you got to take up headspace in a different way. But yeah, SEO is not completely dead. My last company, so Olivine, which is kind of like the other team that helped me put this together. That was my first company. It's still going on. And our entire business is inbound from SEO. But it's not like, it's not people searching for like, for example, positioning and messaging or product marketing tips. It's people searching for product marketing agencies. So it's like a high purchase intent SEO term. So I just think like people who are like doing topical searches, they're just trying to like learn from their own selves. I think that kind of SEO maybe is going away, and people are just looking to influencers like Greg Eisenberg. They're listening to his podcast. You're asking ChatGPT, but you may not be Googling around as much in certain, like just to learn about a certain topic. You might just be going straight to YouTube to like watch a video.
Yeah, I don't know. What you said too, there's like intention is very, very important. So just thinking about like what do you want your users to, when do you want your users to find you? What are they searching for when they find you? Just like intention based is super important.
Yeah. And when I say SEO is dead, I just mean like, I'm not expecting anyone to be like looking for the word river and then finding us. That's just like not quite, I'm not banking on that, which is fine. It's working fine. Okay. So I've broken down what I did for Miami Hack Week into 5 weeks instead of 1. So in week 1, you'll create your brand. You'll set up your marketing properties like your website, your Twitter, your LinkedIn account, and you should just start announcing what you're going to be building. In week 2, I'll be guiding you to create your pitch deck, and you get a post on social about your progress. We recorded a daily podcast. You could do something else. This is also where you want to start getting users. In week 3, I suggest making your product demo video. Product's probably starting to take a little bit of shape. It might not be done yet, but you can kind of Wizard of Oz it into submission to have some kind of demo video, and continue posting about your social progress and preparing assets for your launch. Week 4, hopefully you have some users. You can collect testimonials of people who will help you promote your announcement, even if it's just friends who are trying out your app. Don't forget to submit your project to the hackathon. It's due June 30th. And then on week 5, I suggest launching on Product Hunt and building momentum with some users. And of course, the entire time that you're doing this, you're building and shipping and testing and building and shipping and testing. That part I feel like is obvious. I'm bringing attention to the go-to-market side because I just think everyone builds brilliant products and then no one understands what it is or why it matters. And then founders are like frustrated that their app's not taking off, and it's because they kind of neglected the other half of the equation. Okay, I'm going to share my screen and show you the workshop that we're going to be working in. Everybody see this over here?
Yep.
Okay, so there's a lot here. Don't get too overwhelmed. We're just going to focus on a small portion of it today, but I outlined it all for you so you can use this over the next month. So you can start here in row 1. This is the go-to-market workshop. There's my resources. If you want to find me, this is where you can find Bolt. You can find River, the event platform, and Olivine, the product marketing agency that help put these resources together. You can also access today's slides, which is in Pitch. You can host events on River. There's also a Notion checklist. So this is a little bit more of a project management tool that you can open up if you want to just start trucking away at all this stuff. And then I've got a little newsletter you can subscribe to. And then if you want more kind of marketing resources, I just posted to like some of Olivine's top blog posts. Does our product need to be built by only the products in the builder's pack? What if we use Swift UI? I'm assuming that the answer is it doesn't have to be everything only using the builder's pack.
Does our product need to be built by only products in the builder's pack? It should be majority of Bolt and let's see, Swift UI. That one I need to check, but yeah, let me ask real quick. A moment.
And can you post the link one more time since I'm not able to? Guys,
yes.
Pay really close attention. She's going to post the link again. She's already posted it 2 or 3 times, so just catch it. It's this bit.ly/.
Oh, and then sorry, on LinkedIn, I'll post it on LinkedIn right now. We don't always get
oh, I see. Okay.
Post directly. Yep. 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, bit.ly, bit.ly/thanks Olivine, OLIVINE. Okay. You too can get this Figma. Everyone has their own copy, so you can just start jamming away. This is your space to kind of brainstorm. Okay, but the first thing I want you guys to do is that slide I had where I said don't build anything until you can answer this. It's going to my Figma. Is anyone in the FigJam board correctly? Because Therese is saying it's going to her Figma page. Just want to make sure people are able to get in there. You guys let me know if if other people are having a hard time getting in. Someone's in. Several people are in. Okay. Might be something you're doing logging in. I'm not sure. All right. So what you're going to do is I'm going to set like a 3-minute timer, or maybe 5-minute timer, and everyone's going to fill this out for yourself. So just focus on this kind of green aspect of the workshop here. Yeah, the community file is your file. Yeah, go into the community file, and then that's your own copy. So you're not going to be in here with me because there's like 500 of you, and you all have your own link because it'd be like mayhem if everyone was trying to edit in the same file. So the community file is the correct file, and it should look very similar to this. If it doesn't, let me know. Okay. All right, so you're going to build, and I just put a few different sticky notes in here for you so that you can just kind of try a few different iterations. Maybe you're not super clear on what you are personally building, but what it is. So I'm building an in-person event and social platform. But maybe you are brainstorming, yes, this will be posted on YouTube later. I'm building specifically to help large scale brands and influencers. So everybody should be jamming on their own. And the problem that these large scale influencers have is scaling events around the world using audience source hosts. Yeah. Okay, so I'll be having some of you write your kind of positioning statement in the chat in a little bit, and then I can judge them. Okay, and then also write your product name. A lot of people I know haven't decided on a product name or a domain. My advice is always pick something that's easy to pronounce and spell. Make sure that you're writing the name of your company in all lowercase and seeing how you like it looks, because sometimes it ends up spelling something that you didn't mean to spell. Workshop section in that file. I feel like if you're in the file, you're in the file, you might just need to scroll down. Okay, and then also recommend, so Entry is providing domains, I believe. But I always recommend getting you can get pretty clever with domains. So like, I couldn't get river.com, for example. That'd be like $1 million, multi-million dollars. But I got getriver.io. So sometimes putting the word get, G-E-T, in front of your word will help. Sometimes join, the word join. .io domains are good. .co can be okay, although I find that most people just assume that it's a typo from .com and they'll just type .com. So I prefer to stay away from .co, because it, like, even .ai or .io, people don't assume that it's just .com. And then also writing your tagline. So kind of if you can bring in your value prop, or just knowing, and I say turning audiences into IRL communities. Sometimes I say turning online audiences into. Okay, and so this stuff is all very fast for me because I know what I'm building. I've been working on it for 2 years. But if you don't, these things might take some brainstorming. So I've got some little notes in here for you to kind of jam on with a couple of people. And then the next thing I'd love for you to do is fill out these. So I'm going to set a timer probably, and we'll fill out 1 through 8. But is this board being shared? Yes. Scroll up and look for the bit.ly link that's been posted multiple times. It's bit.ly/thanksolivine. Go ahead and scroll up in the comments and you'll find it there. And it's a community board. It's a community board, so you'll be in your own file because there's like 500 people who signed up for this. So if we're all in one file, it would be mayhem. But join your own. You'll be in your own like playground landia. No one else will be able to see what you're working on. You guys can only see what I'm working on because I'm just sharing my screen. Okay, so in number 1 of who you're building for, try to start getting really, really specific about who you're building for. So for me, like if you're a small like local community builder and you've got like 20 followers, you're not going to really need River, at least not a paid plan. You would certainly use like hosting your own free local events, but our paid plans are really only useful for people who have like thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of followers. And so I'll say big influencers and brands with typically 100,000 plus followers who want to get their community events happening but are overwhelmed with the scale and demand. What they care about, engaging their audience, capturing leads, identifying and celebrating most engaged users, creating fun, delightful experiences, worried about data, quality of events. Okay, so Shiloh is building a tax coaching platform to help new freelancers and teen entrepreneurs with learning tax basics and building proper tax habits to save them money and avoid penalties. Boom, tax habit. This is a very good positioning statement. Congratulations. You know what you're building. You may now pass go and collect $200 and start finding your users. I think like targeting teen entrepreneurs is such an interesting idea because like FreshBooks, for example, kind of goes after freelancers and it's all about like invoicing, but I think they kind of stay away from tax stuff. But I think going after teenagers could be really interesting and fun because those people are going to grow with you. Totally different demographic that's probably completely underserved. So good job, Shiloh. Okay, I'm just using River as an example, just so people can, you can also mute me while you workshop this if you prefer to workshop quietly. Why they need product, like literally cannot have the scale of events if you're hosting them yourself, which is how every other event platform is architected. We orchestrate the host to make events happen without you doing the logistics yourself. I have more followers on LinkedIn, but I tend to do better on Twitter. I feel like Twitter DMs, I don't know, there's just something about Twitter where I feel like the guards are down a little bit. So I tend to spend most of my time on Twitter and like DMing people. But then go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I did not mean to interrupt you. I was, someone had asked, like, you know, how do I come up with an idea even? I just wanted to promote that Greg Eisenberg actually has like a newsletter where he's promoting like startup ideas. Really good resource. I just popped in the chat there.
Yes, great. Yeah, Greg is full of ideas. And he did an episode with Steph Smith recently that I thought was great. She's an idea lady. Okay, primary social channel they spend time on. My customers are like quite public, so it's actually pretty easy to find them because they'll have huge audiences. So they're not that difficult to find. Okay, I think there's another thing. I was actually asking Chris this. He was thinking about what he should be naming his product. And I do, even though I said SEO is dead, I think it is cool to just get in the head of your user for a minute and think about what would they be searching for if they were looking for your tool, and either trying to incorporate that in your tagline or incorporate that into the company name. If you have an overly optimized company name, such as, you know, VA, what was it? VA rating, you can't really pivot away from that. Like now you're doing VA ratings, which is fine. Like if you really know what you want to build, then like being super specific in your company name is great. But if you're not really sure, you can zoom in. Cass says type is tiny. I think you're just meant to zoom in so you can look at fewer things at once. But if you want to pivot, then, you know, VA ratings might have a hard time pivoting out of something. So sometimes picking something a little more general can be helpful. But I think it's just, you know, the difference of your clarity. So people who are looking for, they usually look for like community meetups, event platform. They look for scaled event solution. And then I also think it's great to just think about what feature would make someone most likely to sign up. So sometimes, new product people, they will try to kind of throw the whole kitchen sink at people, or, they will kind of focus too much on a nice to have benefit, or so you want to kind of think of your initial tagline or messaging as like, what's going to get them in the store. So it's like, yeah, maybe, they came in for a hamburger and like they'll be upsold on your homemade mayo or something that like goes with your French fries. But, that's not necessarily the reason they kind of came into the door. So sometimes founders will gloss over the table stake features, like the basic features that people are supposed to know about. And then they'll say, and you can do this really fancy, like little extra thing that no one else has. And they focus on it because it's differentiated, but it is like kind of skipping the meat and potatoes of like what you're actually building. And so really just try to think about what feature would make them most likely to sign up or to consider you over someone else, not all the little bells and whistles. Okay, Matt is building a career management platform to help job seekers and career professionals and students with keeping track of all of your accomplishments and frame them perfectly for each job interest. Oh, that's interesting. I've been kind of interested in something like that when I worked at Intercom. I just had one Google Doc where anytime like something really good happened, I just wrote it down, like what it was and the date. Because like 3 months later, when it's time to write your own personal review, which, those are all very funny things to do, you just like drawing a complete blank and you can't remember. And so I just had this very simple Google Doc of like what happened, which I think like helped me navigate my career and get more raises. And but I think that like this is very cool. This is a very cool way. I would say I caution you, it kind of seems like you're casting a wide net, like job seekers, career professionals, and students. Like it's just a lot of people. I don't know, you might have a hard time targeting those people because it's very broad. So it's like if everyone can use it, no one will use it at the beginning. So maybe you find like a niche that you have a like strong pull with, maybe people in your network, and just kind of focusing on them, doing a land, and then you can expand to other personas. Sonia is building a valuation tool to help businesses in the luxury resale market accurately determine the fair value of handbags and avoid spending excessive time on manual research. Lux Pricer, interesting. I don't know anything about all that, but sounds very cool. Oop. Okay. For me, my core feature is applied to host. We source River sources hosts from your community and guides them to put on events. Okay, I find that this thing number 7, what would your dream testimonial say about your product, is like a huge unlock for coming up with your tagline or your messaging. So just think about like you're a perfect customer, your ideal customer, and what would you wish that they would say about you and your product. So, oh my gosh, VA rating gave me like super clear like estimate. It was like within $10 of how much my benefits were going to be, so I could plan my life. And they guide me through the process so I could like expedite my veterans benefits. Like whatever you want someone to be able to say about it, write that out. And then I find that often can be like pivoted as your hero message or like your core tagline. When people are like told to do positioning and messaging and hero tagline copywriting, they kind of draw a blank. But if it's just like, well, what would you wish a customer would have put down in writing about you? And then you can usually just like do some light editing and there's your hero message right there. So give that a try. Okay. I'm going to say, actually, Brian Johnson said this about River. We had more events than we could ever imagine, and it was super meaningful to meet the hosts who stepped up to build community in their own cities. Okay, and then how will you find your first 5 users? So I like to ask 5 users because it's not like your first 500 users where you're going to start doing like email outbound or you're going to start like spamming people. But it's not your first user either because that's probably like your friend or your mom or your coworker or whatever. So it's like, okay, we know who your first user is going to be, and that's going to be you. Okay, we know who your second user is going to be, and that's going to be your BFF. But like, how are you going to get the other handful of people? Is it in your network? You're just going to open a lemonade stand and like see who drives by, like whatever it is, just be really clear with yourself about like, who am I going after? Scroll up ADL. There's like a bit.ly link that's been posted multiple times on how to get into this Figma file. Oh yeah, Stacklet's going to keep posting it. Thank you, Kate. You're the best. How will you find your first 5 users? So for me, I did Twitter DMs, but part of a wider like campaign. So I kind of targeted, I like hunted Sam Parr from My First Million. That poor guy, I went after him so hard. He announced that he was going to be hosting an in-person event in Austin. And so I told my founding engineer to drop what he was doing and go to this event. I also emailed him. I tweeted at him. I had like a bunch of people who'd been on the My First Million like River waitlist also liked the tweet. Like, this guy thinks he made his own choice, but I came after him so hard. Like, in fact, one guy like gave me his email. He's like, here, I think this is a valid email for Sam. And then when I announced My First Million on River, this guy DM'd me and he's like, hey, you're welcome for that email. And I was like, oh, dude, you do not know what lengths I went to get this guy on my platform. It was like a whole psyop. So anyway, just get really specific on how you're going to get first customers and just know that like you can turn one customer into another customer and then you leap from that one into another one and you just got to keep hacking through the jungle. But I find that anytime a founder is like, I'm going to buy ads, I'm like, definitely don't do that until you know what's working. Or I'm just going to email outbound like a bunch of people and then like you forget to warm up your email and they all bounce and nothing happens. So Sonia said, I did customer interviews over the phone, so I'm thinking calling again. I've also done door-to-door for brick and mortar businesses. Yep. Sonia, I actually think you might do well with some events. So you could host like a BYOB, like bring your own high-end bag and like appraise it or something. I don't know. That could be interesting. Then it's like show and tell. I have no idea if people who like bags would like this, by the way. I'm just making it up. I like wear a backpack with my laptop in it. A few at a time. Okay. So warning, Chris, I'm going to bring you up on stage soon, and we are going to go through these first kind of panels. But let me just pause there and see if there's any questions. So yeah, Chris, get ready to come on stage. How do you personally determine if your product is a good one or not? Even if you, with their our intended audience, how do you gauge if you would stick with your product project? Oh man. Yeah, I mean, maybe Kate has something to say here. I think you got to ship often and get feedback. Negative feedback is brutal. I've gotten so much negative feedback for River over the past 2 years. Someone emailed me and told me that my app is trash. Just terrible things have been said. But the thing is like, and some days I'm like, man, people are so rude. Like, can't they just keep their nasty comments to themselves? But the fact is now the absence of those comments is like so vindicating because we've just built out the platform. So I think, stickiness, like, are people using it? Are they coming back? What's the tone that people say about your app? For a long time at the beginning, people were like, why aren't we just using Luma? I don't really hear that as much anymore. I'm sure somebody thinks it, but people don't say it as much. I think it really helps if you're solving your own problem and you're constantly using the product yourself, and then you'll know. Whenever someone tries to give me an idea about River, chances are like it's already on the backlog and I'm already super annoyed about this thing not working the way it's supposed to work because I'm just like a huge avid user of my own app. I think it is really hard if yes, you can have fresh eyes developing something for like another type of persona, but pretty difficult. Okay, is Chris here? Is he ready to come on stage?
Oh, okay, I'm gonna add him to the stage. Here we go. Hi, Chris.
Hey, everybody.
Chris, my first victim. Bless your heart.
Yes.
Okay, tell me what you're building.
Absolutely.
Who you are, what city you're calling in from, and what are you building?
Yeah, so my name's Chris Laster. I'm calling outside of St. Louis. I'm currently active duty military, and I'll be retiring in about 19 months. And one of the problems that I've noticed a lot of my friends who have retired recently they've had is trying to figure out, what is their VA rating going to be? What medical can they claim? What issues can they claim? And so with the power of AI, what I'm working on is a VA rating assistant where they can upload the medical documents, and using AI to extract that data. We can utilize, an AI to scan it, bounce it off the VA website and their medical source documents to help give them an estimated number.
Great. Okay. And then were you able to fill out your Figma board at all?
So I have it all filled out in my head. I'm going to fill it out afterwards because I was watching you in the comments. I wanted to learn. So
okay, yeah, no problem.
I'm filling it all out afterwards.
Okay. Well, let's just talk about it then. Tell me one more time, or can you put it in the chat just so everyone can like see it? You're building your positioning statement. So I'm building this to help with, you can drop that in. And then your product name is VA Rating Assistant, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so this is going to be like a double-edged sword for you. So I think it's going to be fantastic because it's like super clear and obvious what it does. But if you ever try to pivot in the future, you probably have to rebrand. So as long as you know that going in, but I think this will do very well for what it is. And you bought the domain,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely. That's perfectly fine.
Yep.
I'm trying to get into the chat. It wants me to log in with my YouTube.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. People just have to like tune in and listen. All right. And then do you have a tagline that you're cooking up?
Yeah. Simplify your VA disability claim process.
Simplify your, yeah. So I like simplify, but I feel like it's not that tangible of like what I'll be getting. It might be like instantly get an accurate, I don't actually know like how VA benefits work, but it might be interesting to say like instantly get an accurate estimate of what your VA benefits will be. I think simplify is like fine. I just think it could be a little bit vague.
Okay.
So it's just something to consider. Okay.
I'm taking notes.
Great. And then it sounds like you know who you're building for, but is it like anyone who's like getting out of the military, or are you focusing on a specific niche at the beginning?
Yeah, so right now we're mainly focusing on those who are getting out within the next 12 months. And also for those who have already gotten out and they haven't processed their VA claim yet. A lot of times those are more like junior sailors and airmen. And so we want to get this product into like TAP class, which is a transition program. So they can utilize this and know that it's important that they need to get this done before they get out.
Yep, that's cool. I mean, I think I obviously know nothing about handbags or the military, but maybe you could host like an online workshop kind of like this for like targeting TAP class and be like, here's what you need to know. I don't know if they have any free time to come to webinars, maybe not. But yeah, like here's what you need to know. That could be a way of getting your first users, your first testimonials. Okay. And then what do they care about?
What do they care about? They care about making sure that they get their whatever medical issues they have documented correctly, and then making sure they get what's due to them, what's owed to them, and not having to go spend money on a VA lawyer and refile claims.
This right here. This is like the tagline. So like simplify is so vague. It's like simplify your VA benefits process, which is fine, but it's like don't have to refile, don't have to pay money for a lawyer, get accurate estimates instantly. Something like harder hitting like that.
What about know your worth, claim your due? Or
hell yeah, that's a great tagline.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. I think it's clear like why they need this product. They want to set themselves up for their life after the military. How are you going to reach these people? Like, where's their primary social channel that they spend time on? It might not be Twitter.
Yeah, so for the last 5 years, I have been joining a lot of veteran groups in LinkedIn and in Facebook and on social media pages. I'm also a chief in the Navy, so I have access to a big network of people. And so right now, currently, I have access to over 200,000 people. And so I'll be posting in those social media channels and then sharing it with those who are active duty.
Amazing. Yeah, I also think you could do well with a referral program here, like a give get.
Oh yeah,
because like help a fellow veteran type thing. Yeah, maybe they like get 20% off, and you give 20% off or something. I don't know, something like that.
Oh, for sure, absolutely.
Yeah, and then it sounds like you know what people are searching for. We talked about it in our DMs, like what people are searching for online to solve this problem. So I'm not worried about that for you. What feature would make them most likely to sign up?
So the VA calculator itself is free. I would say the feature that they're going to benefit from the most is going to be the AI that scans their document and extracts it and then gives them a list of what their active and inactive problems are. And then it's 2-part. And then the second part, which is the one that they have the hardest issue with, is actually defining in accordance with the VA guidelines on, is it claimable, is it not, what's the problem? And then later here soon, a big feature that we're going to add is the ability, and this is the big one, is to be able to take all that medical information that we have that's saved in the database for them and then put it into a VA form. So that's the issue a lot of people have, is they have to fill out a VA form for every single issue. Oh, you got a sore joint. Okay, here's a document for a sore joint. Explain to me all the issues. Well, if I could just upload that PDF document that's 5, 6, 7 pages and it already extracts all the information and fills it out for me, that's going to be huge. And that's one of the things that we're working on too.
Yeah, so I feel like you could be super quantitative with this and be like, this, I filled out one form and I got 30 forms filled out with it. Or,
Absolutely.
Hey, I think this would have taken me 33 hours to like fill this out, or you could even say like, the average, before VA rating calculator.com, it took veterans this many hours to file for their disability ratings, and now it takes this long. Like just being super specific, I think will help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then what would your dream testimonial say about your product? I was kind of hinting at it, but.
No, yeah, absolutely. I would say anything that says, "Hey, VA rating assistant, saved me this amount of hours and earned me this amount of money." Because I love helping people, and at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. We want to save hours and make you money, because time is money.
Yeah, save hours, make you money. That's fantastic. Yeah, those are great taglines. Okay, good work. Like, what's your biggest challenge? Like, what are you worried about getting users for this?
I don't see an issue with getting users. The biggest challenge right now is just making sure that it's compliant, with HIPAA. And one of those things is making sure that the data is encrypted, which is, we just started this on May 30th for Building with Bolt. And, in the last 2 days, we've been able to do the encryption. We've got the login working. We've got the Stripe integration working. you know, I've got a really cool feature that I wanted to show you working. If you, can I share my screen real quick?
Let's see it.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is really cool. I just did this while you were talking also. So right here is kind of like an example dashboard where they'll be able to upload the documents. And then it's funny, you think this wouldn't be hard. It took me 13 hours to get this view document and this rename to work because of edge functions with Supabase. But now you can rename your files, and not only does it view PDF documents, it also will do view pictures, and having the model pop open for you to see it. That was really complicated to do.
Incredible.
And then also today I was actually working on the VA calculator, and here it is right here. And so, like, for example, if you get 100%, you know, it shows you what it is. The math is just off a little bit. I know what's wrong. I'm going to fix it when I get off. But the VA calculator here, you'll be able to put in your percentages.
I wasn't checking your math. This is really cool. So wait, for the disability, for the percent, what is this percentage? Is it like how much of this you'll get covered?
Yeah. So when you're in the service for more than 20 years, a lot of times you have a lot of issues that so whenever you get hurt in the military or have issues in the military, they can give you like a percentage saying like, hey, you know, you have sore joints, so we're going to give you 10% disability because you have this issue with those sore joints because you've been in the military for this long. Nice. It's a huge complication thing that they do. I fully don't understand that. But at the end of the day, if you get up to 100%, depending if you're married or if you have kids, it can be a large number, which is tax-free for the rest of your life.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah, maybe veterans know more about this, but I feel like you could be setting yourself up for like unmet expectations if everyone's like putting 100% in and then they never get that. So maybe like putting some benchmarks in, like the average is 50%, and I don't know, some kind of guidance. VA is a veteran, right?
Veterans Affairs. Yeah, VA is Veterans Affairs. So it's who takes care of veterans when it's their time to get out. No, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so that calculator you have allows people, when they go to scan the documents, it'll say, hey, you could get 10% for this. And then when they put it in, they can see what the ratings are for sure. Absolutely.
Incredible. Uma, you should get ready to come on board if you're awake in here, although I haven't seen you, so maybe you're not. Chris, anything else I can help with? Like, what other questions do you have?
No, so all I got to say is, you know, this has been fantastic. I've learned a lot from you, and I really appreciate your time. And, you know, right before this meeting happened, someone reached out to me in your group and is already connecting me to a VA representative on the IT side. And so I may have a foot in the door with the VA to try to get this to be used by them. So I'm
hell yeah. Oh, okay, good. Thank you so much. Well, this was really fun. Like, I really love jamming on this stuff and helping people. And like, the more you kind of know about what you're building, the more I can like pull out of you. But it's hard to help people who are not really sure what they're building. Yeah, great first guinea pig. Thank you so much, Chris. We'll probably have a second session of these, and it'll be hard to top someone like who's vibe coding as fast as you, because I don't know, it's insane. Good work.
I did it all with Bolt. Bolt did all that for me.
Bolt, baby.
Really Chris, awesome. It looks really cool, Chris.
Yeah, great job. Thank you for your service. Thank you for building. Thanks for hosting. Hosts are my favorite people. Hosts love to help hosts. So I'm so glad things are cooking.
Yep. Well, that's what my kids say. I've been cooking.
You're cooking. Okay. Cool, man. See you later, Chris. I think we'll bring up Uma now.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. Bye.
Also, okay, I just wanted to give a call out. We have a Twitter community where it's going to be like, you can share your like builder journal, like you can share your journey of like how you're building, and just like yeah, Chris had a really good, you know, he was kind of documenting like kind of tweaks he was making and just kind of building in public stuff. So I just shared that in the YouTube and the Twitch chat on Twitter once we get Uma pulled up here. Okay, I'm gonna get off.
I deeply regret not having more of my own personal like founder's journal while building River, because it's just like the fog of war. Like you, like, when did we get our first customer? I don't know. When did this happen? And like, I'm like kicking myself for not keeping track of it more. Of course, there's so much to do, but even if it was just like a 3-minute voice note to myself, I don't know.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And then you have the data that you can pipe it through some AI later.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just document now and organize later. I think that's
Yeah.
a really good piece of advice.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna jump off here and pull up Uma.
Hello, Uma. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yeah, I am Uma. Thanks for this opportunity.
What time is it? Where are you?
I am from India, and it's past 12:30 a.m.
I'm so sorry. We should have had you come first.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm not very sleepy at all. I'm very nervous. This is my first time here.
You're a night owl. Bless your heart. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me, what are you building?
So hi everyone. I'm Uma from Kakinada, Andhra Pradesh, and India. I'm building a AI-powered emotional platform. It is called CareCo. It is for the people who are stressed, who are feeling stress, loneliness, any trauma. Sometimes they just want to share their feelings, their pain. But they can't always talk to their family or friends. It may be just a momentary type of feel, and our platform helps that they can just opt in, and they can just talk to our users, and we will have a AI companion, so they will talk to it and be I hope to give them a relief from their pain. That is the idea.
Amazing. I've been hearing. I've used ChatGPT myself for like processing some stuff. Someone sent me like a very, very long, nasty email that just had like tons of personal attacks in it. And I was just like, I wonder what ChatGPT has to say about this. It was actually really insightful and like very helpful. But I do feel like maybe having a dedicated space for this type of thing could be like really powerful.
Yes. Actually, ChatGPT is very good at it. I'm very active on Reddit. So if you go to ChatGPT Reddit form, you'll see many people claiming that they're talking to you as a companion. They just want to share their feelings. They don't use it for build anything. They just want to talk to it. Recently, I read about this woman. I guess it was at 3 a.m. in her time. Her boyfriend was laying next to her, but she did not want to wake him up. But she wanted to speak to someone.
Yep.
And she went to ChatGPT.
It's incredible. Yeah.
So I think having a dedicated app will be good. And at that end, human to human interaction is more empathy rather than AI.
Yeah, I also read somewhere that people need to talk about something really traumatic 50 to 100 times before they can like actually process it and move on. And for like a partner who's busy and works and has kids and has their own trauma, their own problems, 50 to 100 times might be a lot of times to talk about something. But like what you're building, like CareCove, has infinite patience. So it's incredible. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about, so we know what you're building. So you're building an AI-powered emotional support platform to help people struggling with stress, loneliness, or trauma find a safe, judgment-free space to vent, connect, and feel heard without bots, spam, or toxic behavior. That's fantastic. And you're calling it CareCove. Is that still true?
Yes, yeah. I really love that type of CareCove. Cove is like community,
Yeah. Cove is like, feels like protected and like accessible, but not like wide open. I do recommend capitalizing both of the C's when you spell it out, just to make sure that people don't think it's like Karakove or whatever. I feel like if you capitalize,
I got it. Yeah.
And then, did you get a domain for this yet? Are you using Entry to get a domain?
Yeah, I am. I will use Entry to get it. I'm thinking of careco.io.
Great.
Yeah,
that's a great domain. I will say like. .io, some communities are really comfortable with it, like young people are more comfortable, so I guess it's like, are you targeting older people or younger people?
I think it is for everyone, but mostly I have observed teenagers, they use about 18 years. I'm very active in these Telegram and Discord channels, and sometimes I just play games there, and somebody random just messages me, and just they talk about their trauma and pain, and they never talk to me again.
Wow. Yeah.
So yes, so IO is dedicated. She's for those people, you know.
Yep. Amazing. Okay, so .io will be a great domain for you. So for someone's selling to older generations, I definitely recommend maybe getting a .com if you can, even if it's like a longer
Yeah,
word,
sure,
just
yeah,
they're more comfortable.
yeah,
But yeah. Okay, so you're building. It sounds like you're building for young people who are looking for
mm-hmm.
kind of empathy and a place to vent.
Yeah.
And then I would say like the key thing you're going to need to answer is like, how is this going to be different than ChatGPT?
Well, I do use ChatGPT a lot, and I have seen people using ChatGPT a lot. I think my idea would be more about human connection. You know, ChatGPT is good. It is very good, but at the end of the day, sharing my own experience with you is different. You know, I don't want to give just a random example from the world. I want to share you my experience and help you.
Yep.
So this apps connects human to human. You know, even if
Okay,
they're
so there'll be
anonymous. Yeah,
some human connection. It's not just going to be
yeah,
one person talking to a bot. I see. Yeah, that's
yeah,
big.
yeah,
I also think the ChatGPT UI isn't like, I mean, it's a beautiful, clean, like white page UI, but it isn't
yeah,
necessarily like,
yeah,
comforting or like it doesn't necessarily feel like as emotionally safe. So
yeah.
I think having like a really friendly, maybe warm colors in your brand palette, warm like UI could be really helpful.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
And then, okay, primary social channel your audience spends time on. Did I hear Discord or somewhere else?
I spend most of my time on Twitter and Telegram and Discord
Telegram?
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could start with a Telegram community. Tons of companies
Yes,
like,
yes. Yeah, actually, I am a part of some mental health groups in Telegram. So I just
okay,
talk to people and support
perfect.
offer mental health. So that is my, starting area.
Um, Tyrese is saying human to human is a great idea. Maybe you can use ChatGPT to help you scale. Just a thought. I agree. I
Yeah,
feel like,
yeah, I
and
agree.
then Sonia says, I feel like ChatGPT is a bit intimidating for people. Same in my case, it's just a GPT wrecker, but people don't use ChatGPT as much as we think because it's not specific enough. Yeah, I think it's kind of like well, maybe some of you don't remember when Google first came out and we're like all waiting for the page to load because it's just like a
Yeah,
single text bar. But I think maybe something prompt that's like, how are you feeling today? I also think like giving a rating. I used to track my mood in like some kind of mood app, and then you could kind of go and see like a trend of like, okay, on the bad days, like what was triggering me, and like starting to get like address some root causes that way. So it might be nice to just be like, how are you today, and then give a rating, and then kind of have your product Carico start conversation based on that rating, that feeling that they're giving.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We will implement that. And this is for, not for therapy. This is not a therapy app. Many
Not a
people look at
yeah.
therapy. Yeah, yeah. Because at the
How
end of the day, we are not professionals. Yeah.
yeah, how will you differentiate between like therapy or I don't know.
Well, therapy, I think, we have to visit them. They have to be professional. I do not think my experience will help you in long term for
I
clearing
see.
your pain and everything. So, my idea would be pushing them. If someone requires, from someone might need therapy, the care co community will push them to go to the therapist. I think at least in India and some places, many people are not open yet, not open to visit therapists, because they don't want to like open up about their pain.
Yeah. Or maybe just the stigma of being like I'm in therapy.
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe some
yeah,
people
yeah. That
have
yeah,
that
they don't
stigma.
want to be like yeah.
I don't, by the way. Everyone should do it, but okay, and what feature do you think would make people most likely to sign up for Carico?
I would think it would be AI moderation. Uh, Actually, there are many apps like this. I used to be an app like that. I was the moderator, helping the support. After that, I left it. I came back 1 year later, and it completely changed. This is now just predators. Those people who take advantage of others. There is no moderation at all.
Okay.
So
Well moderated is huge.
yes, yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that's great. And then um, what would your dream customer like testimonial say about your product?
I would say I would be happy if they say something like, "This is the place I want to go when I'm in pain." Without thinking of any stigma without any like will it affect me, or will I be trapped by someone else, because online, they may start being nice to you at first, but they might gradually, take advantage of you. I have seen people like that, so I don't want to be like that.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. And it sounds like you know how you're going to get your first 5 users, maybe in this Telegram community that you're in. Yep. Good work. Okay. Any other like biggest challenge questions, how you're going to get this thing cooking off the ground?
My biggest challenge would be, I guess I have a team, and we are working on UI and things. I do have this fear, because at the end of the day, we do not want to push people. Sometimes somebody may say something wrong in the app or the AI, so you want to train it in a way that it doesn't, cross the limits. That I would say that is the biggest.
Okay,
challenge.
Yeah. So more on the product side. Yeah, product issues. Well, you certainly have a big TAM, a big total addressable market. Well, Uma, I'm super rooting for you. Be sure to keep me posted on what you are building and submitting for the hackathon. I'm going to answer a couple more questions with the 10 minutes we have left.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Uma. I think maybe I'll have you, I don't know how to have you come off, and then maybe Kate can come back on. But great job, Uma. And there's no need to be nervous. You're building something really important. So good work. And thanks for staying up late.
Yeah, no problem.
Rooting for you, Uma. Okay, I saw someone ask, at what stage you get articles of incorporation, other documents as well to protect brand and IP? I'm probably a little fast and loose here. I would personally wait. When you do sign up, unless somebody else has a suggestion, I recommend Stripe Atlas. It's $500, and it will like create all of your articles of incorporation. I will say though, if you do it too soon and you need to change it, it's very expensive to get a lawyer to change it because it's all like legally binding. But once you have your co-founders in place, and I would say I didn't file Stripe Atlas for River until I had like a check signed basically, and like needed a place to send the money, therefore needed to like officially incorporate so that I could open a business bank account. I think sometimes a lot of inexperienced founders, they worry about legal things too much at the beginning. They spend money on lawyers, they spend money on like LLCs or whatever they're getting. And it's like, until you really have a like actual revenue coming in the door, I don't think any of that's very important. You can always do that later. So my recommendation is go a little fast and loose. I actually spent more money on lawyers for River than I should have. I think I just underestimated the power of ChatGPT. And honestly, like, for example, I had Tim Ferriss as a customer, and I I need like proper documents for him. And so I like hired a lawyer, spent way more money than I should have on like getting all of our creator terms and stuff in place. And then I like months later heard him like say on a podcast, he's like, "Oh, I don't hire a lawyer anymore. I just use ChatGPT." And I was like, because I was like, I can't send him ChatGPT AI slop. He's going to know it's AI slop and then send it back and be like, no way, I'm not working with you. But then he just uses AI slop. So I don't know. I think, most startups fail. If you like, you can worry about some of that stuff once you have customers coming in the door. That's my suggestions. Okay. Who else has questions? Someone's, is it valid to think a YouTube vlog of my hackathon journey will translate to 5 users, or will they not translate? I don't think they'll translate fast enough. I think you just need to like be really brave and just start DMing people. It's possible, but I would not count on that. If you just sit around and like wait for users to come just because you create a little bit of content, I think you need to go. I think that'll be ill-advised. I think you just need to go where the people are and just make a direct ask. Hey, I'm building this. Would you hop on a 15-minute call with me and take a look and give me feedback? You don't have to ask them to be a paying customer at the moment, but just like asking someone, say, hey, you're exactly who I'm building for. Would you be willing to look at this and give me your honest feedback? That's how I would get started. Will you share the presentation? Yes, everything is in that link. But yeah, I'll probably send a recap email out to the 900 people who RSVP'd. Also, this will be posted on YouTube. There'll be show notes with links. Yeah, it'll be pretty findable if you're trying to find it. I'm creating an app to manage digestive disorder shooting for the only IBD IBSF that actually learns your triggers so you can prevent flares instead of just tracking them. Oh, cool. Good work.
Awesome. So many cool ideas in this chat.
Yeah, I like, it's so interesting. Like, people can build so much more personalized things now too, than we used to be building. Yeah. Okay, I'll stay for a few more minutes and answer a couple more questions, but I hope this was helpful so you can start thinking about how you're going to get users, how you're going to get the word out, how you're going to get people to know about and care about what you're building. Because if you build something brilliant, but no one knows about it, that's not enough. That's only half of the equation. So I hope you can show me what you're building. Tag me on Twitter and I'll like it.
Yeah, and also two great spots to join. Obviously, River is we're going to be where all our events are. Also, join our Discord because that will have channels where you can connect with potential teammates. You can also share projects, tell us a little bit about yourself, get advice, all that good stuff. How do I get access to the free version of Bolt for the month? Yep. So go to hackathon.dev. Make sure you are registered. And once you're registered, you can expect the email 48 hours after you've registered.
Cool. If anyone has questions, they hit me up on Twitter. Get out there and build. I can't wait to see what everybody builds. Got 1 month, so you got plenty of time to make something juicy.
Awesome. Okay. Yes. About Swift. Yes, I would just ask my team. I'm going to put my Twitter handle on here. You can just send me a DM. I will follow up there. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, Rae. I even learned a lot.
Okay. Me too. Sometimes I go through my own templates and I was like, oh shit, I didn't do that. Do as I say, not as I do. Oh man.
Well, I think it speaks to, like we're all learning in public. And I think it's, like, don't be scared to ask questions. Like, even if you are like, oh, this is like maybe too junior or like, I think everyone just ask the questions and we'll do our best to answer them.
Yeah. I mean, it's so messy. This is like how the sausage gets made. We're all like, the train is like already moving and we're trying to build the track. So there's just like so much to do. But yeah, I noticed that when I did Miami Hack Week, someone built like this like satellite chatbot thing. I don't even know, but like clearly technical people building really interesting things, but like no one could quite understand what it was. I was like, ooh, such a miss. So get out there and make sure people know what you're building. Proud of you all. Go out and cook. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.